Hi, I'm Harry. I'm the body shop manager here at Project Heaven. Today's video we're going to show you about how we detail a car, prepare it back to give to the customer, what we do, the steps we take and the reason why we do that. So this is one of our customers' cars that we've completed. It's almost ready to go back to the customer. It's been road tested, just finishing off one or two little points on it. But we want to clean it, get it all ready so the customer can come and see the final product. It's a beautiful Aston Martin V8 Vantage, a 1985. We've done loads of work to it. We've cleaned all the inlets. The carbs have been rebuilt and cleaned ultrasonically. There's been lots of other mechanical work done, but mainly underneath to clean it all. So it looks immaculate underneath. So let's show you some of the products that we'll use, and we'll start off in the engine bay and then we'll work around cleaning the rest of the car. So we just use a standard K4 jet wash. They're reasonably cheap, but it allows us to take the end off and put a snow foam machine on, which you'll see demonstrated in a few minutes. We recommend these products. This is what we use. We use G101, which is a multi-purpose cleaner by Autosmart. And we can use that for degreasing engine bays, cleaning wheels. We can use it for removing TFR or traffic film from the body. Underneath it can be used. It can also be used on interior if it's diluted to a different ratio. But a very powerful multi-purpose cleaner that we just think is brilliant. Then we have a Snow Foam Pro from Autosmart as well. That's designed to help us clean traffic film off the car. Our main purpose is to not have to use sponge and rub hard on fresh paintwork because it just damages the car. So we try to use chemicals where possible to remove dirt from all the surfaces. And then finally over here we have Cobalt Plus, also by Autosmart. That's primarily a polish and a sealer that we use as the final coat to help protect the paintwork so that when it goes to the customer it's nice and shiny, but also it's going to stay that way and also keep things clean. In the engine bay, I really like using this. I use it on the tyres as well. It's Armour All tyre foam. It's not very expensive at all, but it really does brighten up the engine bay, makes things look clean and shiny. A really powerful foam, which I'll demonstrate to you in just a moment. And then we have our Snow Foam, and that's just G101 in a bottle, spray bottle, which makes things easier. We can use a brush to clean in detailed areas inside and outside. And then we've got clean microfibers to keep things nice and clean. And then we have a chamois or a dry towel for drying the cars afterwards. I also have a bucket here with water in to keep our sponges nice and clean. One of the main things we'd advise is when you use sponges to never let them drop the floor or get dirty. They want to keep clean because little bits of grit can stay in there and damage the paintwork, sometimes irreversibly. So we always keep a clean fresh water bucket with our sponging. Let's demonstrate cleaning the car. First of all, we'll start the engine bay and then we'll do the outside and exterior parts, and then we'll work through to the inside of the car. So the first thing I want to do is to degrease the engine bay, and then we'll conclude that later on, but just to get it clean for now. So I'm going to jet wash it off first of all, just to rinse it, and then I'm going to put some G101 at 5:1, one part being the G101, 5 parts water, to degrease the engine bay so I can detail it later on. So all I'm really trying to achieve here is to get rid of the dirt and dust off the engine bay, and then I can go in with a degreaser and let the chemicals do their work. I don't want to get too close to any electrical components or anything that injects fuel or anything like that, so I'm keeping the jet wash nice and far away. There's no need for it to be too close. So now I just want to spray this G101 over the whole engine bay, and the powerful chemicals are going to degrease it and remove any stains, so that when we apply the detailing foam later on, it doesn't have to sit on top of greases and dirt that's already there. So after leaving it for a few minutes, we just let the chemicals do their work on the surfaces. You'll actually see some bits starting to discolour as they're lifting the grease out of the metalwork. And then we're just going to rinse it gently and then leave it to dry, and then we'll return to it at the end of the cleaning process. So now we can leave the engine bay to dry and begin to rinse the outside of the car. This is just to get rid of some of the residue, the dust and dirt that could damage the paintwork as we're washing it. So we're just going to get rid of that for now, get the majority of the mud away. Again, we don't want to be too close with the jet wash, there's no need to do that. Just get as much as we can off by rinsing it. So now the car's been rinsed, we can actually go and start removing the film of dirt that's on the car. Now if there's insects or strong TFR, traffic film, maybe you've been driving the car for a little while, then again we can use the G101 5:1 mix to squirt these areas just to help loosen up the bugs and the dirt. And you can just literally squirt it straight to the car on those areas and then move on to the next process. Now we won't do that with this car because this car's got fresh paint. It takes about a month after the car's been painted before we can apply that. But if your car's been hardened for a while, then you can use that safely. You can also use it on your wheels if you want to start getting the wheels to remove the brake dust from around the spokes. So then we just are going to snow foam the car. Now this snow foam works as a traffic film remover. It will cover areas that are difficult to get to. It will help remove the dirt where we can't physically get in and sponge the areas. So we just swap over the lance to the snow foam machine. And then in the snow foam machine, we've put 50% G101 and 50% snow foam. We just put it straight neat into there, and then we put it on the maximum. It'll mix the water and the products together to cover the car. So that's the snow foam now applied. You definitely don't want the snow foam to dry. You want to leave it for about 5 to 10 minutes, as long as you dare, and then you can just swill it all off. But save a bit of your snow foam in the bottle, because we will use that for sponging the car down in a minute. So we've waited about 5 minutes. We're just going to now swill this all off. We don't need to be too precious about it, because we'll reapply some to wash the car within just a minute. So now we've swilled off roughly all the snow foam that was on there. That's got rid of the majority of the dirt that was on there built up. So now all we're going to do is just quickly apply some snow foam, and that will be our basis for wiping down the car with a sponge. So now I'm going to take my brush and my sponge and wipe down the whole car. I'll also take some G101 in case I need it anywhere in small detailed areas. So for instance, around here, around the grille, I'm never going to be able to get the sponge in there, but I can squirt in some G101 and lightly with a clean brush any areas in there that I can't get to, and make sure there's no grease or dirt in those areas. But the rest of the panel can just be sponged like normal. Also, when it comes to wheels, there are some specialist wheel products, but you can use G101. Again, same sort of thing, squirt it on, leave it for a few seconds to start working, then you can use your nice clean brush to clean between any spokes and any dirt areas, and then we can jet wash that off later on. So now we've just sponged the whole car off and detailed any bits with the little brush. We just need to swill it off, ready for the next process. So this is the final process we'll now use with the jet wash, and we're just going to apply this polish and wax that we use called Cobalt Plus. This will just protect the surface of the paintwork and it'll give it a nice shine, but it'll also make it a lot cleaner, a lot easier to clean on the next time we get to wash the car. So we just apply this on liberally all over the car, make sure it's completely covered. So now once that's all applied, before leaving it to dry, just jet wash it all off just to swill it all down, and you should see the water nicely beading off the panel as the water and dirt is being rejected from the paintwork. So now we can use a chamois or a towel to dry the car off. We want to make sure that we also get in all the apertures. Sometimes when you lift the bonnet or open the door, you might see some of the snow foam residue left behind, so that will need wiping out as well. The aim is to dry it all over, and then we can just simply buff it up with a microfiber and it'll look like it's freshly polished. When you finish washing the car and you've chamoised the wheels off or dried them out or whatever you're going to do, then sometimes it's nice to put a wheel dressing on to make the tyres back to original. They look black, they look nice and shiny but not too shiny. Just a real nice finishing touch. So I use this Armorall tyre foam, and you literally just squirt it around the edge, leave it to dry maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then just wipe off any excess from around the rims. We won't do it with this one because this has had our wheels have been refurbished here, and obviously it's had new tyres, so we won't do that with these. But if your tyres are worn and they look a little bit unsightly, then that's the product to use. The Cobalt Plus polish can also be used neat in a little squirty bottle like this. If you've missed a little bit or you want something to be extra shiny, then you can just squirt a light coat on and then wipe it off with a clean microfiber. So sometimes that's useful if you've missed a little bit, or if it's got dirty outside and you just want to do a little bit, then you can do that. When the car's all dry, then it's best to wipe it over with a microfiber to get rid of any watermarks left behind, especially if you live in an area with hard water. But that will just bring that final shine back to chrome work or paint work after applying that cobalt. So let's revisit the engine bay that we cleaned earlier on. I'm just going to use my microfiber that I used to buff up the outside of the car, and I'm going to squirt this tyre foam all over the engine bay, and then when it's nice and foamed up, I'm going to wipe it all down with this microfiber. As I said earlier, the G101 is a very powerful tool that can be used for many different cleaning applications. Particularly it's good on interiors as well. Now you're going to want to dilute it a bit more, maybe 10:1, and work your way up until you're comfortable with it. Basically if you leave it on, it could damage maybe leathers or interiors, so always try an area that's out of sight first. But basically the idea is you can just squirt it on any surface, and maybe like the steering wheel area here, and use a brush, nice clean brush, and you can work it in, get rid of any dusty areas, and then wipe it off with a nice clean microfiber, and it leaves a nice matte finish that looks very authentic. It looks like it's just clean as opposed to being all shiny and fake, and it's a good job at keeping the odours down and any previous dirt that might be on the panel. Okay. Let me demonstrate the benefit of using G101 on the interior here. So we'll just take this bit of the seat here, we'll clean it, agitate it with the brush so it gets in all the areas that are difficult to get to. And then you can see here, look in all the cracks, it's nice and clean. There's some staining that we'll never be able to remove, but compared to this bit over here that's a lot darker and dirtier, it looks a lot better. So G101 is also excellent for cleaning windows, and so you can just squirt it on lightly and then wipe it over, and then I use a dry cloth to go back over that when it's dry to get rid of any streaks. But you can see the dirt that's coming off just from the window, so it's an excellent product for that as well. So that's the car completely cleaned, ready to go back to the customer. There are some more in-depth procedures that we do to various things like plastics, specialist treatments for underbody, and some for the interior as well. But obviously we can't go into all those details. There's also paintwork rectification that we do, scratch rectification, clay bar, things like that, removal of tar, things like that. But obviously we can't go into detail on everything. But we do offer that as part of our services. We can do full detailing if you need particular rectification of bodywork or damage to any bodywork, then we can sort that out as well, and also paint rectification. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope that's been informative for you. We do offer more services, obviously. Please subscribe and like if you like this video. If you've got any comments, then you add that in the comment section below and we'll respond to those. And check out our website for more videos like this.